The 1980s weren't just the golden age of Marvel storytelling, they were the birth of modern comic book art. Before CGI, before the MCU, before billion-dollar universes, there were pencils, ink, and imagination. Artists who made every panel feel alive. These were the creators who took risks, broke rules, and turned superhero comics into fine art. So today, we're counting down the 10 Marvel comics of the 1980s with the most stunning, influential, and unforgettable artwork. 10. Secret Wars, art by Zeck. When Secret Wars launched, Marvel didn't just create an event, it created a template for every crossover that would follow. Zeck's art made it larger than life, dramatic poses, iconic splashes, and crystal-clear action. Each page felt like a toy box explosion. Heroes and villains locked in colorful chaos that kids and collectors could stare at for hours. Even decades later, that cover of Doom holding a broken mask stands as one of Marvel's most famous images. Secret Wars showed how an artist could turn pure commercial fun into visual myth-making. 9. The Incredible Hulk, art by Todd McFarlane. Before he co-founded Image Comics or redefined Spider-Man, Todd McFarlane cut his teeth on the Incredible Hulk. His artwork was wild, exaggerated, and full of energy. Every muscle and motion seemed to stretch past the page. McFarlane's Hulk wasn't just big, he was alive, with twisted anatomy and impossible poses that would define 90s comic art. This run bridged the gap between the classic Bronze Age style and the bold, hyperkinetic visuals that ruled the next decade. You can practically feel the panels vibrate with rage and rebellion, a true artist finding his voice. 8. Fantastic Four, art by Byrne. John Byrne's Fantastic Four run is what happens when storytelling and spectacle collide perfectly. He made cosmic adventures feel intimate, balancing giant space battles with close-up human emotion. Every spacecraft gleamed with technical precision. Every cityscape felt like it had depth and air. Byrne's confident line work and cinematic pacing gave the first family a timeless elegance. Even when the script stumbled, the art never did. To this day, many fans consider his Trial of Reed Richards issue one of the most beautifully illustrated comics ever printed. 7. Uncanny X-Men, art by Byrne, Cockrum, Romita Jr., and Davis. If Marvel had a heartbeat in the 80s, it was the X-Men. And visually, it was an all-star rotation. Dave Cockrum brought flamboyance and sci-fi flair. John Byrne added bold clarity and drama. John Romita Jr. injected grit and edge. Alan Davis refined it all with sleek precision. Together, they shaped the visual DNA of mutantkind, from Storm's regal presence to Wolverine's raw energy. Every cover screamed emotion. Every panel told a story of unity and struggle. The art of Uncanny X-Men didn't just define a team, it defined an era. 6. Kraven's Last Hunt, art by Zeck. Kraven's Last Hunt is where Spider-Man's bright world turned dark. Zeck drenched every page in shadow and rain, creating a gothic atmosphere that felt more like horror than heroism. Kraven's madness, Spider-Man's vulnerability, and the haunting grave imagery made it one of the most psychologically intense comics ever drawn. Each composition feels claustrophobic, deliberate, as if the panels themselves are closing in on you. This wasn't just Spider-Man in costume, it was Spider-Man buried alive, both literally and artistically reborn. 5. Thor, art by Walt Simonson. When Walt Simonson took over Thor, the god of thunder stopped being a myth and became a legend. Simonson's line work was thick, bold, and full of motion. Lightning bolts that cut through panels, armor that gleamed with divine energy. Every sound effect, doom, crack-a-thoom, was part of the art itself. He redesigned Asgard as a world that felt ancient yet alive, blending Norse mythology with cosmic imagination. Without Simonson, Thor might have stayed a background Avenger. His visuals made the character immortal. 4. Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment. Art by Mike Mignola. Two geniuses, one of art, one of sorcery. Mike Mignola turned this graphic novel into a gothic masterpiece. His heavy shadows, sharp architecture, and haunting geometry made the journey into hell feel real and terrifying. Every panel is symmetrical yet unsettling. A painter's precision meets a storyteller's rhythm. This wasn't just a crossover, it was a meditation on pride, redemption, and visual power. You can see the early seeds of Hellboy right here. Mignola's signature shadow style beginning to bloom. 3. Elektra, Assassin, art by Bill Sienkiewicz. This comic didn't just break rules, it tore them apart and rebuilt them with paint. Bill Sienkiewicz transformed Elektra's world into surreal chaos. Brushstrokes, collage, watercolor, and abstract explosions of color. It was espionage meets fine art, violence rendered as ballet. Every panel looks like it belongs in a gallery. Every page screams emotion. It proved comics could be both storytelling and pure expression. After Elektra Assassin, comic art would never mean the same thing again. 2. Wolverine, art by Frank Miller. 4 issues, 1 legend. Frank Miller brought samurai precision and noir minimalism to Wolverine's first solo story. His use of clean grids, cinematic shadows, and dynamic poses made every duel feel operatic. Logan wasn't just fighting, he was performing a tragedy through motion and silence. This was the moment Wolverine evolved from fan favorite to cultural icon. Every modern anti-hero owes something to these 4 perfect issues. 1. Daredevil. Art by Frank Miller and Klaus Janson. Before he reinvented Batman, Frank Miller redefined Daredevil. With inker Klaus Janson, he built a world of fire escapes, rain-slick alleys, and religious symbolism. The art pulsed with grit and humanity, shadow versus light, justice versus guilt. Panel by panel, it played like a film noir painted in crimson and black. From Elektra's tragic grace to the looming silhouette of Kingpin, every image became legend. Miller's Daredevil didn't just elevate the hero, it rewrote how urban comics were drawn forever. So, these 10 masterpieces remind us that before superheroes conquered screens, they ruled the page, drawn by hand, guided by passion. Which 1980s Marvel artist do you think had the most unforgettable style? Drop your pick below. Let's build the ultimate fan-voted list. And don't forget to subscribe.